Okay, I think we will call the meeting to order. It's 7:04. And we'll call the meeting to order. 7:04. Okay, let's go ahead and take roll. Oh, this meeting is being recorded, so I want everybody to know that. Okay, Sonia is not here, but she may come late. John?
Here.
Andy?
Here.
Kathy is absent. Emily? Here. Jen is also absent. Jim? Jim?
Oh, Jim. Here.
Kim? Here. Laura? Here. And Michelle is also absent. So we've got 1, 2, 3.5 absences tonight. Okay, but we do have a quorum. All right, welcome everybody.
Can you talk a little louder?
Yes, I can. I'll try. Sorry about that. Okay, so we just need to approve the agenda for tonight. Does anybody have any changes, modifications, questions about the agenda? No? Okay, the agenda is adopted without objection. And we will start with communication from the public on non-agenda items. There will be a 3-minute restriction, please. And Kristen, you're up.
Thank you. I just had a question, and I know it can't be answered at this point because it's just a public comment, but if there happens to be a representative from D4, when they give their report, if they have any information, maybe they might be able to elaborate on my question. There is a part of North Choya's Park that borders Carver Elementary. And right now there is a whole bunch of native plants that have been completely ripped out. And there's a lot of drilling that's happening up there right on the edge of the canyon. And I was just wondering if that ever came before Eastern area, if any neighbors know about it, and if anybody from D4 might be able to elaborate on what's going on up there at some point. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. There isn't anyone from D4 here right now, so thank you.
And I'll just
yes.
comment. Kristen, I have some information and I'll email it to you after the meeting. I talked to Brian Flagmore yesterday.
Thank you.
Could you email that to everybody?
Sure.
Kathleen?
Hi, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Kathleen Lippett. I wanted to revisit the ADU issue. It was brought back by Councilmember Foster July 22nd, and he deserves credit for doing that. But there are so many unsettled aspects of this program. The failure to recognize that there are 8,200 short-term units that they're short-term rentals. They could be used as affordable housing units. But some of the units that the developers are building, they're estimated to be 450 square feet. I don't think very many people could live in 450 square feet. And the cost estimates have been anywhere from 400,000 to 700,000 a unit, which seems ridiculous. The city chose not to go along with state guidelines, which were onerous enough, but instead they doubled down with that ADU bonus program and also made it ministerial, which really made it particularly egregious for a lot of areas, particularly in Encanto and Choyas. They claim that the footnote 7, that nefarious and nobody will admit at the city where it came from. They said it was a mistake. That's hardly holds water. And as Anne Rand says, business people make a mistake, they pay for it. But when bureaucrats make a mistake, all the rest of us pay for it. in any event, that program should be revisited. I hope that the planning groups will come together and push back on the city for this program, in particular, the zoning violations. Yes, the state did make some pretty difficult decisions to change zoning, but that doesn't mean the city has to go along with it. The city can create more specifically ordinance that is better suited to the city of San Diego. The mixed use zoning is highly problematic because it also ignores sensitive uses. So you've got some of these multi-story, they're called multifamily units, and they've got a liquor store or a smoke shop on the first floor. That is not compatible with family units. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Kathleen. Is there anyone here that has a non-agenda comment they'd like to make? Well, we're gonna have a whole presentation on that if you want to wait. Okay, great. Okay,
I have a comment.
Okay, please, John, go
Not
ahead.
as a member of the board, but just as a community member here. I wanted to express my opposition to the State Bill 79 that's been up for consideration right now, at least in the way that it's written. Feel that that the way the distances are measured, and they're measured as crow flight versus on a sidewalk is unfair. And I suggested to our representatives that they put some language in that either requires builders of more than one unit to build sidewalks up to the nearest intersection, which I think is a fair thing, since a lot of us don't have sidewalks. A lot of us would have to walk through canyons or wilderness type areas. Those of us who live in San Diego, a mile as a crow flies is often over more than one wilderness area. So if we're trying to get people to take public transportation, there should be a way to get to the public transportation. So I think that should be done with before the SB 79 is adopted. That's all I have to say. Back to my regular note taking here.
Thank you, John. Richard, please go ahead.
Hi, hello, everyone. I'll make this very quick. My daughter introduced me to the San Carlos Community Garden, which is a very, very nice, well-managed garden. And I started doing research on other community gardens within the city. First with the idea that maybe in Oak Park, we might find space for a community garden. But then I remember some emails that went through about Choya's Triangle Park project, and the idea of if Eastern area is interested in research on and the feasibility of putting a community garden in the new park, then I'd be more than happy to include that in my research. I'm going to be researching anyway. And one thing I do want to point out is I did see one garden, just photos, that's very long and narrow, but it's well managed. So just because Choya's Triangle Park, that one strip might seem long and narrow, other communities have been successful in establishing a garden in that area. So I can do more research on that if you guys are interested. Thank you.
There is already one there.
I think that would be a great way to spend some research, Richard.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you. Hey, anyone else? Yes, all right. Then we'll move on to our city, county, and state representative reports. We'll go in order of arrival. First up is Ashcon Jones from Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins' office, District 79, Assembly Member.
Good evening, everyone.
Ashcon, would you mind standing like in that corner so that the
Over there.
you on the camera and stuff? Yeah, we'll get you. Yeah, thanks.
Good.
Yes, that's a perfect spot.
So good evening, everyone. I'm here with the Office of Assembly Member Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins. Going to give you a brief legislative update and then pass it over to our new district director, who's joining us over Zoom right now, Erin Wilson Nieves. I'm just going to go through this really briefly and pass it over to her to introduce herself to you. So, the assembly member continues to fight for our working families of the district every single day in Sacramento to push forward her legislative agenda to continue that fight. I'm pleased to report more bills have passed through, have now passed and signed into law. There's two that have been signed into law, and we have one that we're still waiting on in the Senate. One of them is Assembly Bill 829. This one is passed and signed into law, establishing the California Parkinson's Disease Research Fund, and supports life-saving research, especially for Black and Latino communities who are often overlooked in medical studies and disproportionately affected by this disease. The next bill, 847, this is the one we're still waiting on to be passed into law. This expands the authority of our local law enforcement oversight commissions, giving them access to better records, which promotes transparency here in the district and in the state. And then finally, we have Assembly Bill 987. This protects our working families here from being taken advantage of by tow truck companies by banning all sorts of exorbitant fees. And some of these extend for the time the car is sold, provides more notices to families so they don't lose their only means of getting to and from school and work. And just the last update we have is our Red Ribbon Week coming up. Our office has ordered and will be distributing 10,000 certificates to elementary schools up and down the district. So we're really excited about that. But without further ado, I'd love to introduce you guys to our new district director here, Erin.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Erin Wilson Nieves. I am the new district director for Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins, or Assembly Member Lachey Sharp Collins. I just wanted to come and introduce myself to you all and let you know and make myself available for any questions, meetings, anything you all would like to address on the assembly level. Ashcon is there and can share my email with anyone who is interested in it. And I hope to see you all again in the future. You are my first planning group that I've been able to stop at on my second day of work. So thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you, Erin. Welcome to Eastern area.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ashcon. Okay, next up is Sam Gonzalez from Dr. Akila Weber Pearson's office, Senate District,
Is this okay?
39th Senate District.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sam Gonzalez, District Representative for State Senator Weber Pearson, Akila Weber Pearson. I do have a few updates. I shared them yesterday at Run the Park. So just bear with me. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, just wait till I'm done reading each section and I'll just answer them real quick. The first one is legislation updates. We have 9 active bills undergoing legislative process. These bills have successfully passed their committees in the Assembly and will be up for a floor vote. So I'm going to read the name of the bill along with its tag. So if you have any questions about that, ask me after. SB 39, boric acid. SB 236, hair relaxers. SB 437, CSU genealogy. SB 439, California Health Benefit Review Program reauthorization. SB 482, Cal roster. SB 503, medical software. SB 518, Bureau for Descendants of American Slaves. SB 646, metals in prenatal vitamins. SB 764, healthy restaurant meals for kids. Any questions on those? All right, seeing none, if you have any more interest in these bills, you can go to our website. The second update is our webinar. We're having a webinar titled Breaking the Sickle Cell Silence, Stories, Science, and Solutions. on Tuesday, September 16, from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. More information is online in our website. This is an RSVP event, so you have to put your information in, you get the link, you can join us. It'll be great. Third update is our community town hall. It's actually our first town hall with the senator attending and hosting it. It's titled Aligning State Priorities with Fiscal Realities. It's on Thursday, October 16, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So it's, if you have any questions, you want to ask the senator directly in person, now's the time. She's usually in Sacramento. In fact, this whole week, she'll be in Sacramento, staying up till midnight, working on passing assembly bills. She will be presiding the assembly session, I think, on Friday. So if you want to see her in action, the Senate, not assembly, the Senate hearing. You can go online, Senate, look for the media archives, find her live streaming on Friday. She'll be live pretty much till midnight. At least that's what we think. The fourth update is that we're now accepting applications for our Young Legislators program. So if you know a high school student interested in social studies, government, legislation, or politics, this is a great program to just introduce them to the field. This is a 11-month program with a once-a-month meeting from 5 to 7 p.m. at our district office in Mission Valley. It's completely free to attend. All we ask is that the student shows up, pays, and at the very end, they'll be presenting their bill idea to the senator. If you have someone in mind, you can reach out to me or go to our website. The applications are open until September 30th. Lastly, this is not, I don't have a flyer or written down, so bear with me. We're having our Hope Ball. This is the There Ought to Be a Law program. So if you as a constituent have a bill idea that you want to present to the senator, if you have research data or your personal story that you want to share and fix an issue that's you think you can address it through legislation, you have until October 1st to go online to our website, find the page and submit your bill idea. I think that's it. Any other comments, questions, or concerns? Great.
I like that bill idea. That sounds like fun. I bet you get some really interesting ones. Thanks, Sam. Okay, and look, and next is Karen Montefar Federico from Supervisor Montgomery Steps office.
Hi, everyone. I am the Senior Community Representative for Supervisor Montgomery Step at the County of San Diego. I'm going to start with a couple of legislative updates. Today, we had a Board of Supervisors meeting, and just to update you on the last couple ones. So today, September 9th, the Board of Supervisors approved the Supervisor Montgomery Steps board letter to adopt an ordinance adopting sections of the San Diego County Code of Administrative Ordinances pertaining to the duties and jurisdictions of the Citizens Law Enforcement Review Board, CLERB for short. So this allows CLERB's jurisdiction over in-custody death investigations to include the sheriff and probation employees and contractors, such as healthcare providers. So that's a really big win with all the in-custody deaths that we've been seeing in our jurisdictions. Additionally, the Board of Supervisors also supported the State Assembly Bill 847, peace officers regarding confidentiality of records. So the Board of Supervisors supported this Assembly Bill, which clarified the law to make sure that there is civilian oversight. Commissions are able to access the files they need to hold officers accountable to those that they were sworn to serve. Let me see what else there is. And last month, August 26th, the Board of Supervisors also approved Supervisor Montgomery Steps board letter on improving youth safety in juvenile detention facilities. This is phasing out the elimination of the use of OC spray and the promotion of de-escalation techniques as opposed to excessive use of force. and room confinement. So the chief probation officer is going to be reporting back to the board of supervisors within 60 days on that plan. So a lot has been happening at the beginning, end of this summer. And into some other updates happening at the office. As always, we have our grants program. It's a $3 million grants program open to nonprofits, government agencies, public agencies. It opened in July. We are having our first grant deadline, September 30th, for awards to be made at the end of November. We have a grants workshop that will be virtual this Thursday, September 11th at 6 p.m. So if you want to learn more about our grants program and all the steps that are needed to submit an application, I recommend you check out our grants workshop. I'll send out an email with that information. And again, applications are due September 30th. If you haven't already, please sign up for our newsletter at supervisormonicamontgomerystep.com. Also, for our grants workshop, if you're not able to make it on the 11th, there is a recording of a previous grants workshop under our grants tab. So feel free to check that out as well. And lastly, we are accepting interns. We are currently looking for fall interns. So they do have to be current college students, undergrad or graduate students. They have to be enrolled in school. On our website again, supervisormonica@montgomerystep.com. Under community, you can submit a form. You just provide some contact information, availability, upload a resume and a cover letter, and we will go from there. So if you have any students to recommend or know of anyone looking for an opportunity, please send them our way. So that is it for me.
Thank you, Karen. Does anybody have any questions for Karen? Thank you so much. All right, and now we're going to hear from Roberto Marin, District 9 Council Member Sean Elo Rivera's office.
Thank you, Bettina. Good evening, everyone. Roberto Marin, Director of Community Empowerment. Hey, John. For Councilmember Sean Elo Rivera's office, wanted to provide an update. Pendleton Park will be getting renovations and they will start construction at the end of October. So that is very exciting. It's going to be a state-of-the-art facility, going to have more trees. It's actually going to have also mitigation efforts for trees near sidewalks. And we do have the plans. So I'll be sharing it with the Eastern Area Planning Group and also with some Rolando Village residents as well. Dog Park is included as well. And I know this was a long time coming, but yes, they have secured the construction contract and they will be starting in October. Moving forward, we will definitely be communicating updates every month on the progress of Pendleton Park and where that stands. Please connect with me or your community representative SADA for more information on that. Secondary, we will have a Sandag Bikeway project coming through University Avenue, starting from Aragon all the way to Euclid. That is going to be starting at the end of October. Please let me know if you have any concerns, questions, or comments until then. We are meeting with Sandag to address some immediate concerns that residents and businesses have already flagged. For example, if they close a certain section of the road, how can they get to a business? So we're already preparing for that and working with Sandag diligently on that aspect. We're also doing something new. We're working with the city engineer to host bi-weekly meetings. The first time it's ever been done in the city and also with Sandag. Basically, we're going to be working with the Development Services Department to make sure that everything that is being constructed is done at one time. Sometimes what the city does is they execute 4 different types of work for 4 different sections of the road. It is not productive at all. And so instead of that, we're consolidating all that work into one period of time. So we will be working with the department to make sure that continues and we try to get this project moving forward. I understand the concerns of bike lanes and I understand the concerns of that. It will be down to 1 lane. after it is done. But if you have any questions on the project, please feel free to see me after. And then lastly, some legislative updates. We do have our hospitality minimum wage ordinance next Tuesday, September 16th at the 2 p.m. session. That is for hospitality and the tourism sector. That is $25 an hour. Folks are probably wondering and upset that it's going to be $25 an hour straight up. It actually is not. It's going to be phased in. So for example, year one, it will be $19. Year two, it will be $21. After feedback with hotel industry and also entertainment venues, they recommended that. And so we are working with them diligently to make sure that it is as smooth as we can be. We understand that the city, it's not cheap to live here. It's very expensive. Making a salary is very hard. And for other folks that are living in that space, they can't afford to live here. So they need to be paid a fair and livable wage. And then lastly, we do have our immigration ordinance that is coming on September 29th at 2 p.m. session as well. We are looking to limit ICE cooperation, not only with SDPD, but with the city of San Diego itself. We are going to be limiting ICE in the sense of not having them access to public spaces and non-public spaces in the city of San Diego. We're also mandating businesses and also anyone that gets monies or monetary compensation from the city abide by those rules as well. So I'm happy to provide more information if you have that, if you would like, and that is pretty much it for me. Any questions? Yes.
Any updates on Choice Triangle Park?
I don't have any updates other than a couple. I would say probably in April, they got additional funding in the construction. My understanding is from Andy Field that they are still in the vacation process and that it's supposed to be done sometime in the next 6 months, 7 months. It's been a while. They told me that a year ago that it was going to take a year. So I will be following up to make sure that that's still on schedule.
Regarding the hospitality, is the definition of hospitality clearly spelled out somewhere?
Yes, and it definitely is spelled out with specific where the entertainment folks that work at Petco, Pachanga, it's very specific in the language. I'm happy to share that with you if you're interested in seeing the specifics. But yeah, it's spelled out pretty carefully in the ordinance.
Richard?
Richard, you're muted.
Thank you. When you say vacation, does that also mean the SDG&E facilities? Or are those going to be there permanently?
That is going to be there permanently. That is not moving. It is
Okay.
everything else but that.
But eventually, the parkway itself, there'll be major construction, right?
Correct.
On the roadways.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And we've made it very clear with city staff that they need to be able to secure when they close down Choice Parkway, because as you are all well aware of, it looks nice now, or it looks a lot better. But when we close it off, no one's looking, folks are going to be enticed to go in there. So I've made sure that SDPD and Parks and Rec are involved in once the vacation is over to monitor the area moving forward.
Anyone else? Thanks, Roberto. Okay, I'm just going to check real quick here to see, is there anyone from the District 4 Council Office, Council Member Henry Foster? No. Yes, the Mayor's Office, Fatima, or someone else?
Somebody has their hand up on the.
Oh.
No,
I think that's the
That's the mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm like, I don't see a hand. Okay, and from Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs' office, Kate, or anyone else? No. Okay, then we are. Right, now comes what we've all came here for. We're going to have a presentation on the Streamview Drive Phase 2 final design project. And I'll let you folks introduce yourselves, if you don't mind, standing in the corner so we can get you on camera.
Make sure that we get up the
Yeah.
presentation.
Yes. Oh, and before they get started, you know, a lot of people are going to have questions. So we'll do one question per person until everyone's had a chance to ask their question. And then if you have a follow-up question, we'll ask you to please wait until everyone else has had a chance to ask their question, and then you can ask your second question.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for allowing us to be here today to present on the Streamview Drive Phase 2 project. My name is Renat Rakhani. I'm the Senior Engineer with the City of San Diego's Engineering Capital Projects Department. And with me here is our consultant. I'll allow you to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nick Dorner with Rick Engineering Company. I'm the project manager and the engineer of record.
Next slide. Okay. So for those of you who are not familiar with the project location, this is just a quick aerial of where the improvements are taking place along Streamview. So between 54th and College Avenue. Next slide. As I mentioned, they're taking place along the outer ends of Streamview to meet the Phase 1 improvements. So the Phase 1 improvements were completed back in 2017, and those improvements were between Lynn/Michael and Gale Street along Streamview. And so Phase 2 will be completing those improvements on either side on the east and west end. Slide. So a bit about the purpose of the project. This is a larger project. So it's touching a few different goals for the city of San Diego through the climate action plan, through the city's Vision Zero policy, and the bicycle master plan. So the project is looking to implement multimodal improvements, and it's going to account for all modes of transportation. So vehicles, bicycles, pedestrians, as well as buses. And the intent is to really improve safety by implementing traffic calming features. And those traffic calming features, as you guys are aware, are the roundabouts, the sidewalks, or I'm sorry, the curb extensions. And additionally, the project is going to provide regional water quality benefits through the installation of the water treatment vault, the multi-use treatment area vault, and we'll get into the details of that later. The project will also be repairing aging infrastructure, and that's mostly the water and sewer pipes that run along Streamview within the same footprint. Additionally, and this is something that we added recently based on your feedback, based on the community's requests, we're going to beautify the community by adding landscaping. And I think that was a really big win for the community. And finally, it's going to improve quality of life. We're going to be adding additional sidewalks, lighting, other features that are really going to make the community more livable. Next slide. I'm going to pass it to Nick to go through the scope.
All right. So, yeah.
Yep.
All right. So the proposed project, this is just an overview of all of the improvements that we're going to be having along the corridor. We'll be installing 5 new roundabouts, and that's going to really complete the corridor with what was happened in the Phase 1 improvements. So total, there will be 7 roundabouts along the 1.3 mile segment. We're going to be replacing the existing pavement that's out there, installing new raised landscape medians, sidewalk upgrades, installation of new street lighting, ADA upgrades, and also putting in Class 2 buffered bike lanes and continental crosswalks throughout the corridor, or throughout the entire corridor. We'll be having parallel parking, both exterior and on the west segment, also interior, because we have additional right of way. And that was, if you recall from the last community meeting, if you were here, we had discussions and kind of voted on if it was reverse angle parking or the parallel parking. And so we ultimately landed with the community on the parallel parking, and the design's been updated to reflect that since then. We also have the MTS bus pads, and there's some improved amenities with those. We're going to talk a little bit about some of those in a little bit. Drought tolerant landscaping that Ronak mentioned is now implemented within the design. Water and sewer upgrades. So on the west segment, we'll be replacing the water and the sewer and abandoning of the existing facilities there. There's not going to be any water or sewer replacement on the east segment. I think the age of that infrastructure, I believe, is newer. And so they're really focusing on the west end because of the amount of drainage improvements that we're doing on the west end, really there's something called a MUDA, the multi-use treatment area. It's a big water quality treatment vault at the downstream end that's really prompting us to have to move all those facilities. And so, yeah, really the implementation of the water quality improvements, it's a 250 or so acre watershed, and all that's going to be draining to this multi-use treatment area and getting treated before it goes ultimately into Choyas Creek downstream. All right, next slide, please. So this is a rendering of what the west segment will ultimately look like upon completion. So you see it's a 110-foot wide right-of-way corridor. So we have a little bit more opportunity here to make a wider median and accommodate the parallel parking in the center. And depending on where we have utility conflicts or opportunities, then we're also providing trees where we can. Next slide. This is as you approach our heading east along the west segment. This is where it's tying into the phase 1 improvements. So we have a lot wider median here as we're trying to maneuver and tie in to that existing roundabout that's there. So this will have kind of the most concentration of trees along the corridor. Next slide. This is an example of one of the roundabouts. This is at Streamview Drive and 55th Street. So we'll be putting the roundabout in and having the continental crosswalks, areas for bikes to get off and traverse safely through there, having the lighting and having some nice landscaping through there. Next slide. Now moving into the east segment, this is a 20-foot narrower corridor than we are dealing with on the west end. So there's more limited opportunities for implementation of landscaping. You'll notice that the median is more narrow here and the parkways are more narrow. We are still planting the parkways. There's less opportunities for trees because of the amount of existing utilities that are within the corridor. But there are locations where we have been able to provide some trees. So if you go to the next slide. And then this is what it looks like for the tie-in with the phase 1 improvements as you're heading away from Gale.
Just a distinction. So the current medians that were installed as part of phase 1 just have stamped concrete. So those are going to be replaced with landscaped medians. So the medians that are currently out there that were installed as part of phase 1 will be replaced with landscaped medians.
Excellent. Wow.
Not the roundabouts, but the approach medians.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so that's where I was saying, if you go back a couple slides. One more, I think it is.
Yeah.
So like this is an example of when you're approaching that really big mass of concrete, that's the stamped concrete, that's what we're able to remove, and we're replacing it with that.
Amen.
Okay. All right,
Fantastic.
so for a few slides. All right, yeah, again, this is the tie-in with the phase 1 improvements. And so again, we're trying to remove some of that concrete in the middle and accommodate some more landscaping. One more slide. And then this is an example of one of the roundabouts at Hasty Drive. So there we do have an opportunity based on where we're having to deal with sight lines and utilities and clearances. So you do see that we are able to get a tree in that area there. So where we are able to, we are trying to maximize the amount of trees. It is a lot more difficult on the east segment though, but so we're trying to make up for it wherever we can. Next slide. Okay, so if you go ahead and click the link, we have a simulation of what the finished product will look like. Ultimately, that will be a fly through of the overall corridor. Might need to maybe undo. I don't know. If anything, you can open the simulation.
It's showing mine.
So I think it's because you're sharing the one screen and maybe it's popped up on the second screen.
Yeah, it's showing mine.
Yeah, so go ahead and
Share.
Slide
You're
before.
gonna
Oh, yeah.
reshare the screen.
Nick,
clicks the
they want to see the slide before, they want to see Hasty, the roundabout at Hasty.
Yeah, they just want to see another slide on that first. Go back one slide.
There it is.
Where's the, big excavator? I didn't know the white things. Is that a walk through
That's a cross.
That's a crosswalk, so that's, yeah, that'll,
right before Hastings Corner? Okay.
we can stop this. Sharing.
Oh, stop sharing, okay. I stop sharing,
And now you're gonna need to click share. And now do the.
this one.
Placing.
Video. There.
Okay, I can share this. It'll allow you to just go back. over it. So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't.
There we go. All right, so I'll just stand here so I can
Okay.
resolve that after the, yeah, so this is the simulation of. You know, walk smoother on this. This is starting at 54th Street, and then this is along the west segment heading east.
So that's 55th.
This is the 55th.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm sorry, right where you just went past, what?
That was
Okay,
spa.
55th, okay.
But yeah, so there's spa and 55th. And then this is where the tying with the phase one improvements were there. Then this is now transitioning to the east segment.
This glade?
Yep. I think it doesn't like the
Little
creek
seasick.
surface, it's a little choppier. And then this is Hasty. And this is the last roundabout. This is Boring.
Ooh, that's my corner. No more awful stuff sign. Now it's a roundabout.
And then this is the where we terminate at Sparling. That's just an overview of it. Yeah, the presentation.
Right. You just go through and just show where the parking is going to be and where it's not going to be, because we couldn't tell.
In the flyover?
On the east. When you went through the street, we couldn't tell where the parking
Yeah,
was and what you're taking
Can you
away.
go back a few slides?
So there's no parallel parking within the median areas on the east side,
Right.
only the west side, but
Right.
we'll be able to show you.
Okay,
Yeah, so
thank you.
for on the east segment, you can see to the right of the bike, if you see the bike symbol there.
Yeah.
To the right of that is where the parking is. So
Yeah.
between the bike lane and the
Yeah,
curb.
and the curb.
That's,
It's all parking there. You can still park there.
yes, it's as you approach the roundabout, that's where we talked about
Okay.
in the last presentation that there is a loss of parking. And so that's where we've accommodated in the west segment. I know it's kind of not distributed, but that's kind of what we're able to do. And then in the west segment, that's where we have the parallel parking in the middle of the median as well as in the outside to try to make up for some of the loss that's occurring with the addition of the roundabouts and the bus.
The bike lane where it ties in on the east side?
Yeah.
What do you mean where it ties
The
in?
bike lane where you tie in on the east side from the old to
From,
the new. On the
Oh, you
east
mean
side?
the bike lane along phase one tying into the bike lane on phase two?
Correct.
On
I
the
didn't,
east
I didn't see a
side.
bike lane down there. Is there not gonna be one down there?
there is, it's whatever's from phase one. We are transitioning, tying it all. It is all being tied together out there. Yeah.
Let's let him finish the presentation. And we'll-
Okay, I thought you
Yeah,
could go back and show it, 'cause
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Where to put this in full screen?
We are having a little bit of technical difficulties over here, as you can tell, so, we're doing our best. But,
We
having
can
some,
share this too. We'll share the presentation.
I think you did that last time when we were able to go.
Yes.
Yeah, the simulations, the simulations probably not one that we can really share. It's a very large file, but at least the presentation with the renderings and the section views and stuff, we can share that. Next slide. Next slide.
can we wait until the presentation's over and then we'll ask all our questions?
They're saying they can't see it. Like, is there a way to
I,
zoom in?
That's a full screen.
yeah, it's
Sorry.
as
I
big as.
think maybe if you hide the attendees, it'll make it bigger.
No, I've already got them. It's all squeezed up.
You
Oh,
do-
that's yours.
No, it's not even responding.
Nick, if you go to view,
Yeah.
you can hide, I think, the participants.
Is that better? Or is it mine?
It's your screen that's up there.
Oh,
So you should be able to move slides.
You at the very, very top. And the corner up here.
sorry. I
Next.
And a car ride.
And it makes it a little bit wider.
It makes it a little, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that better?
Then should I?
Yeah.
If you can go to the next slide, please.
Hey, actually, before we move on from that one, sorry, this is Chris Debeknik. Just a quick question. At the far west end, there's that surface road that pops out right before you can get onto 54th. Is that taken into account? Do they have to take a right and then go and do a U-turn before getting onto 54th?
Yes, that will be a right turn only location because of the weird, the configuration of that intersection there. So you will need to come down to the first roundabout and make a go through the roundabout to be able to get back to 54th there.
All right. Is there any like bollards or anything that will be in the design that just, for instance, last two times I've been there, someone has come out of there and then gone in front of us while we're sitting at the stoplight, and it's just like, oh man, it's pretty sketchy.
Yeah, for that area, there's the median will be there. There's right now out there, there's the opening in the median that allows you to drive across there. That is going to be removed. So that way you don't have that option to do that.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, Chris, do you mind if you hold your questions?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Let's finish let's let them finish
10-4
presenting
the design, and then we can ask questions.
All right, so from a landscaping standpoint, again, before it was going to be stamped concrete pretty much everywhere, and based off of the coordination that we've had with the community, now we are implementing the drought tolerant landscaping. It'll be drought tolerant, temporary irrigation for 5 years. That will take place starting at the end of construction. There is not a maintenance assessment district in this area. And so at the end of that 5 years, right now, there are some discussions going on with Groundwork San Diego that the city's working on to see if Groundwork San Diego will be taking over that maintenance. All right, next slide. And this is just a little bit of, the challenges of getting some of the landscaping in here of the trees particularly. There's extensive utility conflicts with underground electrical, gas, communication lines, water and sewer. And then there's sightline conflicts with the roundabouts to make sure that they're safe and visible navigating through them. And then we are also going with drought tolerant landscaping, and the type of landscaping that we're using, the type of surface improvements is to also minimize vandalism concerns as well, of people being able to pick up rocks and throw them and stuff like that. Next slide. All right, so regarding the MTS bus stop, so we had talked at a prior meeting about implementation of bus shelters along the corridor. So we had evaluated that for the phase 2 improvements. There's 6 total bus stop locations that are existing that we're replacing with standard concrete bus pads. There were discussions about implementation of shelters. So we did look at where we can place those shelters, and it is a residential neighborhood, so they are placed directly in front of homes. There's not much we can do about that. And so one of the things that we wanted to come to you today and talk about is, do we really want the shelters out there? Because they are in front of 6 properties, or we're staggering some properties. And if we don't put the shelters there, then we could put benches and the trash cans and those other amenities there. But right now, some of these we're trying to minimize the impact, but they would be placed in front of people's windows, essentially, of their home. There's not much we can do about that. And next slide. So the 2 shelters, that bus pads on the west segment of phase 2, it would be placed between those 2 homes, between 5516 and 5524 Streamview Drive. The next would be 5517 Streamview Drive. So it would be placed, the shelter would be right there. The next slide. And now moving on to the east segment, there would be a shelter kind of where you see that utility riser. There would be a shelter placed right there between 6610 and 6616 Streamview Drive. And then where that existing bus stop is, the sign, there would be a shelter placed there at 3489 Glade Street. But it's along Streamview Drive. It's just the address abutting it.
And although it looks like it's gonna be within the yard, that is still within city right of way.
We just redid all that. That's what it would be much easier to put something there if.
Oh,
And next slide. And then the last 2 to the east segment is 6378 Streamview Drive. That's where an existing bus stop is there today. And then the other one is further down, but we would shift it to line up with this other one across the street. So it would be at 6381 Streamview Drive. We've tried to position them in ways that provides access, but also minimizes being directly in front of somebody's window or in front of their private entrance. And so what we wanted to come and talk to you today about is because originally shelters weren't being provided, and there was discussion with the community at a prior meeting, and that I think some or multiple individuals here had brought up about wanting the shelters out there.
is there any way you can get a hold of the people who live in front of them? Because it's gonna affect them to see what they think, the 6 families.
And yeah, we are planning on sending out probably letters to those property owners. And just for context, we did meet with MTS to see whether they are in opposition to either option, and they said basically it's up to the community and you guys. We will be accepting of either one, whether it's benches or shelters. Initially, the shelters were requested just because of a lack of trees along the corridor. So it was a request by the community so that they have shade for people who are waiting for the bus. So we wanted to get your feedback. We are also going to brief Council District 4 and 9, depending on, the outcome of our discussion here. But if we don't get a sense of what the community wants from our discussion here, we still plan on sending out individual letters to the property owners to get their feedback.
The choice, just so I know, the choice is between the bus shelter and
Just a
nothing but the
bench.
sign.
No
Oh, a
bench.
bench.
We would
Oh,
put a
okay.
bench. It would be a bench and a trash can.
A bench
Okay.
just like, yeah, and that's on.
Yeah.
Similar, it would be like that, just put out to all the other.
Okay, I didn't
locations.
see that. I only saw the can and not the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be a
Okay.
bench still. It's just the shelters are very,
They're 8.5 feet tall.
Right, and are they lit? Is there lighting in them?
I don't believe there's lighting in them. Yes, basically MTS comes after we're done with our improvements, and MTS comes and bolt them to the ground there, but
Yeah.
there's no, they didn't identify any power needs. They are non-ad ones because it is in a residential area, so you won't see ads on the sides of them or anything. But those are reserved for the commercial areas.
Aren't we gonna get through the presentation?
Yes, we're trying to get through the presentation.
All right, so next slide. And again, just a reminder of something that was implemented from another prior community meeting is that there have been temporary radar signage out there at the approaches to the phase 1 roundabouts until these phase 2 roundabouts are built out to complete the corridor and promote the slower speeds through the corridor here. Slide. Turn it over back on.
okay, so the funding for the project has been secured for all of the asset types. So for the transportation portion, the stormwater, as well as the public utilities portions. And the numbers you see here on your screen are the current estimates for construction. Those are not overall project costs, but those are current construction estimates. The actual cost we will see that once we get the bids in from the prospective bidders. And the reason why we are now fully funded is we did recently get a grant for the transportation portion from the California Transportation Committee or Commission, I'm sorry, through the local partnership program. In addition, WIFIA will be funding the majority of the stormwater portion. We are also going after a community development block grant. So that'll fund the stormwater portion, and then public utilities will be fully funding the water and sewer improvements as well. Next slide. In terms of the schedule, so we are hoping to complete the design, including all environmental clearances, securing property rights, and coordinating all of the utility conflicts by this winter. That'll allow us to start construction by late summer, fall of 2026. And it's about a 3-year construction duration for all the improvements. So we'll be wrapping up construction by spring 2029. That's all I have in terms of the presentation. My contact information, I'm the second person listed there. Dulavan is also my project manager. You're more than welcome to reach out to him as well. Either one of us is fine. And like I said, I can share this presentation with everybody here. I'll share it with you and then you can disperse it. That way you have my contact information there. Okay.
Can we share the flyover?
I'll check.
Okay.
And if we can, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so lots of questions, but please let's stick to one question per person. If you have a follow-up question while they're answering your question and you quickly, we're just gonna have to wait until, because clearly we have a lot of questions. So let's start with the folks online. Does anybody online have a question? Nobody online. Okay.
No, I do. I have a question. It's Richard. Can you hear me?
Hey, Richard, you didn't have your hand up.
I'm trying to find it. It says chat and
Well.
participants and all that. Okay, I only get one question, right? And I can't combine
And
three into one,
we can
right?
come back to you. We can come back to you with a question after everyone else had a chance to ask their question.
Okay, let me see if I can do a 3-on-1. Is there a maximum height for the curbs of the roundabouts. And I'm thinking that if they're high, that will prevent people, the illegal dumpers, from driving up and over, dumping and taking off. If they're high, they're going to stop their truck, get out, and do their business, and then get back in the truck and go. So it takes time. So that's the main thing. And gee, it'd be nice if there were cameras in there too, but I don't think that's transportation. That's probably another city department. I'm done.
Are you talking about the roundabouts themselves or the median?
Only the roundabouts, the new roundabouts that are going in on 55th, and the other one was the next one going east. Spa?
So the standard curb height is 6 inches, and then we have the 3-inch truck apron.
Is 6 inch the maximum you can go up, or can you go up higher?
The max that is still allowable is 8 inches. But that is not going to be a deterrent to prevent people from dumping their trash.
Well,
However, I will say, stopping in the roundabout areas, once the roundabouts are constructed, it's going to be very difficult. There's not a lot of space. So if they're stopping, they're blocking the intersection. So
right.
It's not going to really be possible the way it is now in the median areas for people to stop and have illegal dumping in those areas. Also, the roundabouts themselves will have either boulders or landscaping. So there's not a lot of room for dumping anymore.
How high did you say?
How are we gonna
Thank
dump
you.
stuff?
6 inches.
Okay, hold on just a minute, please. Let's.
We want clarification on that.
I couldn't hear.
I understand, but we want everyone to be able to ask their question.
Yes. the
And we
standard
don't
height
want
for
to,
a
yes,
truck
so
apron
one at a
is
time.
3 inches. And then there's the central island beyond the truck apron, further interior, that is 6 inches.
And mine was 4.
Okay, next person with a question is Steve. Go ahead, please. One question, no follow-ups, please. Because
Good evening. Yeah, so I've led to believe that that three-legged roundabouts are not done in the city of San Diego. Is that true?
No, that is allowed. So we have a couple of them on this project.
You have 3, yeah.
Yeah, we have three-legged roundabouts all on the eastern segment.
okay, thank you. Kristen.
Yes, mine is more of a comment. I just wanted to say thank you so much for making this happen, that we're very appreciative of all of the landscaping improvements on Streamview Drive. I know that a lot of hard work had to go into making them a reality, but at the same time, I also feel compelled to acknowledge that what is considered a huge win for our community is something that seems to happen normally in other parts of San Diego. And this project is an absolute step forward, but I'm hoping that it signals a shift toward greater equity and how resources are distributed across all neighborhoods.
Thank you, Kristen. Chris, one question, please.
Well, I just wanted to say, I still have the hat on. How about that? Sorry. I guess I'm in school. Don't have a question, more of a comment as well. Just want to say excellent job. The design is severely improved from what it was in the past, and the graphics of that, I'm excited to see what's going to be happening there. So thank you for all the efforts you guys are putting in there. This is phenomenal. And just to piggyback on Kristen's, this is a great bonus for our neighborhoods. And just want to say very, very, very much thank you very much. So that's it. I'm off. Thank you. And sorry for butting in earlier. I apologize. I'm just really excited about this. So all right. Thank you.
I understand. We all understand. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Mine is a comment. I live in phase 1, 9 accidents. Cars have catapulted into our home. It's been on the media. There's been no accountability for that. We are 4 inches. She says the standard is 6. Stamp concrete, we were promised beautification. I say follow the money trail, hold people accountable, from our council member to our consultants to the workers. Don't be bamboozled and don't be tricked. Follow the trail. It's great to be excited. We were excited too until the cars catapulted into our homes. Okay. And again, I'm excited. I want it beautiful. I want it nice. I want it clean. If it is done right. And if it's not done right, then let's get it done right, because it's a piece of a puzzle. If phase 1 is not right, phase 2, phase 3, all of these components are not going to fit properly. People can be excited if they want. I live there. I live there. Okay. And I've seen it. I've been in tears. I've been fighting for modifications for 3.5 years. 3.5 years. And it's unacceptable when you come back and there's nothing that can be done. Once they break construction, you live with the consequences. Believe and trust.
Can I address that really quickly?
Yes, please.
So April and I have talked a lot. And I've relayed her concerns to the transportation department. And because we now have a way to get phase 2 built, we don't want to hold up the construction to address some of the issues with phase 1. However, there is interest from the transportation department to further look into that. However, if we include any of those improvements beyond our footprint now into this project, we're going to see massive delays. And the funding that we have now will no longer be good in 2, 3, 4 years, just due to escalation, inflation. So we now have an opportunity. We're fully funded to get phase 2 built, but transportation department still recognizes that phase 1, people have concerns.
It's flawed.
Yes. So I just want to provide that clarification.
Thank you.
Yeah, I live at 5530. I live next to it at 5524. And I don't want those bus things there. Oh, I'm right next to it. So the bus is going to be going there.
You don't want the bus shelters?
Shelter,
You
yeah.
want the benches?
Yeah.
What was your address? I'm sorry.
I'm 5530. I'm next to
5530.
I'm the one with the trees. Yeah, you can only.
Pretty house.
Oh.
What was your name? Tim. 5530. Okay, sir, go ahead.
Because you mentioned for the library program, are you also trying to coordinate all the buildings and other future?
Yes, that's why this is a bundled project. It includes 3 different assets. That's why there's water sewer improvements. There's the drainage vault that has to go in. So before we do any surface improvements, we recognized that there was a need to do underground improvements. We didn't want to come back and rip up the road. So we're addressing all of those needs now. And all of those utility conflicts will be resolved before we start. Well, they may still have additional work in the future, and that's beyond our control. But everything that we need to move forward with our project will resolve before construction.
Ma'am, I think you have a question.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
next.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was, well, I have some.
We'll circle back around. Hopefully, we still have another information item tonight that's also very important and worthy of a lot of discussion. So we'll have to cut off at some point.
I just want to know, how wide are the sidewalks now and how wide are you to make them? Because the ideal was to push the traffic in the middle to make it safer for the homes. And I want to know, and sidewalk is one way to do it, the bike lane is another way to add. So I just want to know the comparisons of the side.
Yeah, so again, if we're talking west segment, we have a lot more opportunities in the west segment. So when the west segment, we're making sidewalks 8 feet where possible, but they're also non-contiguous to the curb. And they're, I forget the exact spacing between it, but there's parkway space. That's gonna be the landscaping. As we approach the roundabouts, we're trying to minimize right-of-way take, but we're providing 2-foot buffers as you're walking around the roundabout areas. On the east segment, again, we have 20-foot more narrow there with the right of way. So those ones, I believe, are 5-foot sidewalks, but again, they are non-contiguous, so they are not directly next to the curb. We are pushing the curb in to the road further by 4.5 or 5 feet, so that way we have the landscape strip through there as well.
Is that including the
excuse
space
me.
for the bike lane?
That's
too?
without the bike lane.
So it's 2 more.
So then you
lanes.
still have
Okay.
more space for the bike lanes that are going through there, which the bike lanes, it varies, but they're buffered, so it depends, you know, it's 5 to 7 foot wide there, and then you have your 8 foot of parking area as well. So the vehicles are all being pushed as close to the
But there
middle
are
as
other
we can.
people that actually want to ask questions. Yes, and I want everyone to have a chance to ask their question. So, sir, you were next.
Yeah, the maintenance of these, median, who's gonna be responsible for that? Because
The
right now, the
landscaping?
city's not supposed to be responsible for the first phase, and they're not doing that. They already told us they're not doing it. They don't have staff.
The maintenance of the landscaping or the medians?
The medians, all the grass growing up in between,
Oh,
the stamped concrete and the new one that's going in.
So the landscaping within the median that is going in on phase 2 will be addressed through a contractor for 5 years after construction. The construction will end. We'll have plant establishment included as part of construction. Once the plants are established, then that'll trigger the 5-year maintenance period, which will be paid for through the project, is included in those construction estimates that you saw. So that's already budgeted for. Beyond the 5 years, there is no maintenance mechanism right now. There has been communication with Groundwork San Diego to see if they can work through the mayor's office to develop like a community-based approach to find a way to continue maintaining the landscaping in perpetuity. But there's no, that conversation is still continuing. I don't have any further information
Is that for the
on.
old and the new?
Well, there's no landscaping on phase 1.
But there's weeds growing up. I'm just saying, is that gonna clean that up too?
That is, so maintenance of the medians themselves, if it becomes a safety hazard, is still the transportation department's responsibility. Because weeds growing through the medians, they may impact sight for vehicles moving through the area. That is still very much a transportation department responsibility. If you want to send me photos, I'd be more than happy to relay those photos to the
Oh, I
transportation
did it
department.
done and all of it, and they said they don't have that. They're not gonna do it.
And, unfortunately, the city's budget right now is very limited in terms of finding employees for maintenance and those types of things. So that could very well be the case right now, but that's not going to always be the case.
If I may, because we do have several more items on our agenda tonight, would you be willing to take additional questions, maybe outside? Or, I mean, we have time.
Which right now, or?
Yeah, well, I was gonna let Emily ask her question and then, I'm just looking at the time here. And if anyone has follow-up questions, because I think they do, but I just kind of
Yeah, I mean.
curious if you wouldn't mind, after Emily asks her question, if anyone else wants to ask questions, if you're available to continue to answer some questions.
What time is it? 8:17? I think we'd probably be available for another like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we have another information item that's, kind of a biggie as well, that we need to get to tonight.
Yeah.
So, okay. Emily, go ahead.
Hopefully a quicker question. In the video, the trees looked very mature. How big will they be when they are planted?
Yeah, they're box trees. I forget the size of 5 or 15 gallon trees or something like that, or they're 24-inch box trees is going in, so they're
Pretty small.
They're not mature, but
They're like this, the boxes that they come in are this, and then but yeah,
Yeah.
they're not seeds or anything that we're putting in there,
Right.
so.
And then they'll continue to get established through the plant establishment period and then the following 5 years.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we'll stop here and
We'll step outside, whoever wants to
so
ask us questions.
please, I apologize, but we do have several more items on the agenda to go through, and also like to get a no. Okay. Okay, so before we move on to our next information item, we're gonna get an update from District 4, Bruce Williams, Councilmember Henry Fox with the third's office.
Very much.
You.
Also mentioned that my colleague, staff. Harrison. Greetings, Bruce Williams, Councilmember Henry Fox's office. I'll just share a couple of things. We did bring some packets, and I'll leave them over on the table there. There's not enough for everyone, but in the packets, they have information about the proposed water and wastewater rates increase, the protest form. So some of the packets have the protest form, so all you have to do is tear it out, fill it out, and have envelopes in the car. So if you want envelopes, just raise your hand and I can make them. And there are a lot of other good things in the packet. I know you guys are to your next item.
No, okay.
And also, we've got some budget wins as well. So we want to make sure that folks know what the office has been doing since the councilman has taken office. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact our office. Always know that if you have an item that you'd like to discuss with the council member, you can schedule some time to meet with him. His meetings are held on Fridays between 11 and 4:30. I'm sorry, between 1:30 and 4:30. And you can contact Stephanie in our office and set an appointment. We'll make it work for you. That's really all I have. Tiffany, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Hi, like we said, my name is Tiffany. Just as a reminder, please make sure you select your trash bin by September 30th. Have some extra information if you need clarity on that. And then also we have several cleanups coming up real soon. 2 of the 20th, and Canto Southern Baptist.
Yes.
Another one at Choice Creek Park, Valencia Business Park. I have to apply for that in partnership with Power Up Youth Urban Collaborative, the Chamber, and the Harvey Family Foundation. And then there's also a park beautification project up in Canto. So I know that's a little eastern, but we're trying to get some good work done as we head into the fall. And that's about it for me. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Okay, next.
One question. Bruce,
yes.
Are you gonna have a representative from D4 for the planning group meetings consistently? Is it gonna fall to you?
We will consistently have someone.
Okay, just asking,
Yeah.
asking for friend, that's all.
Before folks.
Okay, moving on to our next information item, and that is the Mid-City Plan update. I'm Lynn.
Today, because I'm on the working group, and I know that a few people attended the meeting last time. John was there, we were there in person, Bettina was online. So very quickly, because they gave us a 177-page document on Monday afternoon for a meeting that was Wednesday. And so I did not get through that entire meeting, entire document. But my big takeaway from this is this planning group needs to start looking at density and where that density is going to go. So 5 concepts were presented there. I did not hear anybody give any feedback on the first 3. came down to basically concept 4, which City Heights likes, because it is about, they want to distribute multi-housing throughout all 4 planning areas. And Kensington likes concept 5, which would give the most growth and best chances for opportunity, economic growth on the major corridors. And that's probably where all the housing would go. So the reason that Kensington really likes it is because it's not going to impact Kensington or Normal Heights. All of that will fall to City Heights and Eastern area. The part that's sort of a conflict, I think, because if you look at University, that's where we would like to see growth. We want to see density. If you're going to build new housing and maybe address the missing middle housing, University is a great place to be doing it, but it is going to come at a cost. And we also need to think about the fact that the one thing they're saying is this is more aggressive than the college area plan, which is already 300% more than most of the other community plan updates going on right now. It's going to be scary. It is scary. So I encourage you to really look at this document, and Alex Frost will be here next month. Going to come and do a little presentation about this. And you really, I have some questions and I'll be happy to share them, because I think he doesn't want to hear just from me. He needs to hear from this group.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. No, I know that too. But people really need to be thinking about what's best for the Eastern area, and what's best for the Eastern area might not be what's best for City Heights, and it might not be what's best for Kensington and Normal Heights. So this group really needs to advocate for what is best for our area. Where do we want to see the density? What type of density do we want to see? And do we really want a chance for economic opportunities like we talk about all the time that haven't happened in the last 30 years in the Eastern area? So please take a look at least this much. I've got a lot of other questions you can ask him, like who thinks we should put jacarandas on University Avenue? What do they think?
Jacarandas, there are no native
We
plants.
do not want jacarandas on University.
So messy.
Or El Cajon, they're messy. There's way better choices. And I've already asked Groundwork to support us maybe in recommending that they look at more native California trees instead of that.
When I looked at it, there was one thing that stuck out to me is all of our neighborhoods have been designated as not historically important.
That's, yeah.
And so that means that there's less of a hurdle to tearing stuff down or putting density in, and they could say, well, it's not doing anything because your neighborhood is so ugly, it won't matter. Having that already second-class citizens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Nobody else in the entire city has the designation like that. It's
right.
completely contrary to what's good for us.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
something that we need to that's something that you can sink your teeth into and say, why exactly, who makes that decision, and what are the,
We should
what's the
just
criteria for saying that. But when you looked at the little map of, it was basically all Eastern area, and that was it.
It's, yeah.
And places like Talmadge and Kensington are completely historic, so that's why you don't see this kind of stuff in their neighborhood.
No, and they're trying to become being designated as a historic district.
Right,
So
exactly.
that will cut back on the kinds of housing that can be done.
Right, so it can't be done over there. It's going to be done in the areas that are.
So it's really sort of a two-sided thing, though. I understand what City Heights is saying, and it should be shared among all the mid-city communities should have to absorb some density. And that would mean that Kensington and Normal Heights also have to look at different housing types.
Yeah.
Just like we would have to. I agree with that. But I also see the flip side, 5, there must be maybe some happy medium between 4 and 5, where we can get the economic growth that we want to see on University. But certainly it cannot be more aggressive than what's going on in the college area, because that's already pretty alarming.
Well, I think they're looking at us with college area and just planning college area and us to be this super growth crap.
Or an extension of.
So there are some good things in there. You should take a look at some of the ideas. If I lived in Webster, I might be pretty happy with what they're thinking about for park space there. Number one, the first thing they did is acknowledge the green alley concept that Kristen and Jan and Groundwork have been advocating. It's right there in the ideas. And they see like some continuous walkways through there where they can actually have more park space in Webster beyond a green alley. Those things are pretty good. Trying to
Lynn, what about some of the ideas being proposed are for Eastern area, but we haven't been involved in that conversation.
That's part
we
two
need
of
a
this.
committee.
Let me just,
Okay.
let's just wrap this up. So you should look at where they're designating some ideas too, like transit hubs. Who knew that? In fact, I bet College Grove owners don't know that they're being considered for some massive growth over there.
Yeah,
They plan to put,
housing and all
yeah,
sorts of
some
good
new
stuff.
streets running right through College Grove Shopping Center and housing. And a trail
Tons
all the
of
way up to
housing.
Troyes
Yeah.
on land that probably can't have a trail. I think Danielle would maybe chime in on that one. So again, there's a lot to consider, but it's what's best for the Eastern area. And so when Alex comes, that's what Alex needs to hear. The working group for me is a little bit of a milk toast experience. I think in a way it seems sort of slanted. Well, I mean, you have four representatives from the planning group, and then all the other representatives from the three communities that are not City Heights have planners on them. The other people filling that out are planners. They're not people from the community for the most part. Makes it a little hard to be
Objective.
Yes, it does. Thank you. There's a second part to this, and that's a letter that I sent around, and this came out of the blue at the meeting. People were coming up and talking about, please approve the Somali Town Cultural District, which is great, except that it crosses into the Eastern area, and no one thought that they should talk to the Eastern area people about it. Wow, okay.
No, not.
Yeah, and the reason why I think is very clear, and it has to do with PANA and the rich development that they'll be building there, which is right at Choice Triangle. So it seems very premature to think about a cultural district. I'm not even sure if it actually should be done during a community plan update. And number two, it should really be participatory for everybody. If it originates in City Heights, you can't just encroach into Eastern area without at least talking with Eastern area about it. Or at least let people know this is what you're thinking.
But we need to be prepared.
We need to have a subcommittee and meet a couple times before next month so that we can collectively get an idea of what's good for the Eastern area.
Who would like to
And the
start
public
a
could
subcommittee?
definitely be invited because you guys are going to be living with it too. But we can't just keep taking this stuff shoved down our throats. They were going to give us 30 seconds for the people who were at the group. We were a captive audience just sitting there having all this stuff shoved down our throats, which, like you said, came out 2 days before. And then we were told we would get 30 seconds to make comments. Then they graciously gave us a minute. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We need to be able to be active participants in this. And the way they're controlling it and having it happen is not how any other community in the entire city is treated. And we need to take an active role in Eastern areas.
So
We
when
really do.
Alex comes next month, you know, I would like for every board member to have questions. And, you know, Lynn and I will share the document so you can, you know, everybody can see it and the different concepts. And the main, at least in my opinion, the main issue here to start with is the fact that these ideas are being put into the draft, because it's still a draft, that are being planned in Eastern area, but we have never been included in that conversation.
Yeah.
So somebody else is coming up with ideas of what to do in our community, and they're not even talking to us about it. So,
Well, that is the purpose of his coming though
Yes.
in this next month. First of all,
Yes.
this is just an ideas document where they've collected a lot of ideas, but it will be what will become the first draft, which is due out in the spring.
They haven't taken ideas from us. Even though it's ideas, they haven't taken ideas from us.
I do find some of the community engagement too a little slanted. Well, I mean, first of all, they did collect a lot of outreach, did a lot of outreach. But Alex said the very first meeting that he came, that they were very focused on youth, input, because that's who's gonna be living here in 20 years. And actually, that's not true at all. Because their own statistics actually show that 20 to 30-year-olds are moving out. There's negative growth in the mid-city in that group, but seniors have actually grown by about 140%. And you know what? Seniors aren't going anywhere for the next 20 years because we can't afford to.
right.
They did organize some workshops, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't include workshops the way that every other community in the city of San Diego gets organized. They went to our high schools. They got people from colleges, from San Luis Obispo or something to come down here and run the things. They weren't even San Diego representatives leading these things. The outreach is just so skewed and so different than anything. No community has been treated like this, you guys. None. It's wild.
Well, this is exactly though why people need to start attending these meetings, because we're getting to a very critical point now.
That's right.
Where there's going to be a draft. And if you don't like what's in that draft, you better start thinking about how you're going to have a say in it before we get to that point.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important that that they understand what the Eastern area communities want.
Right.
For the next 30 years.
Yeah.
If anybody's looked, I don't know how many of you have looked at the last community plan update from 1998. We had zero growth, nothing, and it became stagnant. We can't do that for another 30 years here. And we're not getting a trolley down to Euclid Street either. That was in the last one.
Danielle's had her hand up for a while.
Yes.
So go ahead, Danielle.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So about the historic districts, I'm going to try and do this chronologically as I follow the conversation. Navy Housing is a historic district, and they keep refusing to acknowledge that, even though in the 98 plan it was acknowledged as a historic district. So they can't undesignate something by just ignoring it. As to growth up in Kensington, Talmadge, we have taken our fair share of affordable housing, especially in the block east of the Copley YMCA and on Euclid just north, or sorry, on El Cajon Boulevard and Euclid just north of there, and then a very old one over on Dawson. So our neighborhood has taken quite a bit of growth and development there. And as for historic, only the western half of Talmadge is designated historic. The eastern half is not. That's down the middle of my street. So I'm not historic, but my neighbor across the street is. And there was one more thing. I can't remember now. Yeah, just make sure your voices are heard, because all these ideas are creeping out of City Heights and spreading not just to Eastern, but also on the other side of El Cajon Boulevard into Normal Heights and Kensington Talmadge. So make your voices heard. And I agree that the working group is a big dog and pony show. And having 1 minute for public is really a slap in the face, because there were a lot of people there that they could have added a half an hour to let everybody have their 2 minutes, because that's what you get down at City Council. Thanks.
Danielle.
All good points, Danielle.
So can I make just one comment before that too? City Heights is about 50% of mid-city, but the other three community groups, that's us, Normal Heights, Kensington, we are the other 50, roughly 50%. So it's not just what City Heights wants or needs. We're 25% of the mid-city, the eastern area is. Our voices should mean just as much, and what works for us and what, you know, for successful next 30 years, because the last 30 have not been successful. Roberta, did you?
Yeah, so lots to digest. This is again, like mentioned, this is a draft. This is not nothing set in stone. And number two, we meet with the planning department every month to debrief on the mid-city plans update. We share your concerns of how you all are not getting incorporated, how we can work to do better outreach. We provided that all to the planning department. We plan on actually trying to make sure that we get it right. Again, I understand the arguments of City Heights. I'll be frank, City Heights has never had a seat at the table. Ever. And so for the first time, we are pushing for youth, but also trying to incorporate everyone. I know it's a tough situation because it's 4 different communities in one. I would suggest working together. From what I've heard from planning department and from community is feel like we're pitting each other.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, there's some disagreements, right? Kensington, Ohio. But I think if we're gonna make this work and make it right, I think we all have to work together and be like, we're gonna have to sacrifice something. Like whether that's we put the transit neighborhood where the College Grove area is, or we put more density on University Avenue. We want to make sure it's holistic for everyone. Is it gonna be? Probably not, but we can get pretty close there. So I think I would recommend, I know you all have those planning, you know, those planning group meetings with city planning on that. But I would recommend just meeting with the other groups and just for informal coffee. I'm happy to mediate anything.
Just
between.
we tried that. In fact, David Modi actually tried to organize that 2 years ago before those meetings started. And the first thing that happened is that the planning department found out about it and showed up at the third meeting that we had and announced that they were immediately starting working group meetings because they didn't really want us. He said, well, that's fine. Whatever you're discussing here, though, we're going to be discussing at the working group meetings.
I think it's more of just trying to find compromise and trying to work in the middle. I mean, I've talked to the planning department. We had it a couple of weeks ago. It seemed like they were open to having something offline to just troubleshoot. I think what they were seeing was a lot of issues with people not getting enough time, people not like hearing each other out, or the planning department taking way too long to present. And then you have like Laura's point, you have 30 seconds to only comment on something. So feel free we could talk after, but I think there's something we could work on. Again, just want to acknowledge the concerns you all have.
Thanks, Roberto. I do think also there's a sweet spot between the number 4 concept and the number 5 that will work, and nobody's going to be totally happy, but I think it will be more fair for everybody if we can find that sweet spot between 4 and 5, that benefits us.
And you know, that's what a lot of the communities do is they come up with their plan and what they think is best, and then they work with the city. And we're not being given any of that opportunity. These plans were all given to us by the city. Didn't come up with them from our communities, you know? And I really think we need to strongly look at this.
Is it possible that they're gonna redraw the neighborhoods and just call this City Heights as well?
No.
I mean, is it possible?
No.
I've had the feeling that City Heights wants to get larger.
They do. It's like they're pushing down. They've had so much going on that it's like they're pushing down on City Heights and the spread is North Heights.
They designate Redwood Village as part of City Heights, because that's the feeling I kind of
shut that down right now.
No,
They
can't do that anyway, because both planning groups would have to agree to it.
Well,
You mean like
because
this
we've-
planning group?
Yeah, but because we've had the mid-city community plan, like when there were dollars to spend, when we all got our separate DIF dollars, our DIF dollars from Eastern area went to parks in mid-city regularly. And the community garden that is in Eastern area there along 54th, that is mainly a City Heights community garden. So I understand your
Yeah,
your
it felt like it
comments.
when they were,
Because we did feel like the City Heights just, stepped over the border and said, yeah, this is our community garden. And like I said, our diff fees did go to, a couple parks. One was who was the guy, the council person that died? Not Stevens,
Charles Lewis the third.
Charles Lewis. Thank you, Danielle. And then there was also another park that just recently got cleaned up and is looking much, much better. But all our money went there to Whiteman, I think.
Whiteman
all our
at
diff fees
52nd Street.
went to those. We never got to keep our diff fees. So I can understand your comments because we have always been this kind of big group. We should be separated out and able to do our own thing.
Okay, I'm going to,
Could I ask a question of Roberto, please?
yes, you have, just make it quick, Danielle, because we
Sure.
still have some
Roberto,
things
can
we
you
gotta
ask
do.
the planning department if there are any other community plan updates that include 4 planning groups total?
There aren't any that have another group in them at all. They are all entirely.
I just want him to ask that question so
Okay.
that it gets the planning department thinking that they need to start treating us separately and not as a big lump, because when they say our park points are only X amount deficient, that doesn't include each individual planning group's deficiency in parks. That's the reason for my question. Thanks.
Thank you, Danielle. Okay. Yes, this is important and we'll be communicating via email at the very least before the next meeting. If you want to create a subcommittee,
I think we should.
I think someone can step up to,
Is that something you would want to do, Lynn?
Yeah, well, sure.
Because I happily help you and review things, and I'm sure everybody here probably has feelings and ideas that they would like to get in about the areas they're
so
living in
this
too.
would be just to have some focused discussions before the
Right.
next meeting.
For what's good for
Yeah,
Eastern area.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I just need someone else to manage it.
And then what nights do you guys all have your meetings so we can pick a good time where everybody could maybe
Yeah,
go?
and we could even meet on Zoom if we needed, if that's the only thing that worked out.
That's true too.
If that's the only way that we could do it, because we're all busy,
We could see if there's something available here maybe.
yeah. But yeah,
and are we
let's-
allowed to do meetings like this?
You have to notice it,
Yeah, you have to let anybody attend. It has to be noticed.
so it'll have to be here and it has to be noticed. It's a Brown Act, so.
okay. Okay. We'll work on that. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Um,
let's get all your meetings, your community meeting nights, so we don't conflict with those.
Yeah. I mean, basically, we've got 30 days, so.
Yeah,
That are really-
have a couple. at
Yeah,
least.
we'll have to get on it, okay.
Well, yeah, but the big meeting, I mean, even though Alex is coming here next month, I think it's November that they're sort of planning their follow-up meeting with the working group.
With the working group, I think it's November, right?
Right,
But,
that's what I
yeah, he
think
said
too.
he wanted to actually come tonight and I asked him to wait until October because
Yeah.
Streamview was more important.
Yeah.
And,
Yes. Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to review, correction, and approval of minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read them? And does
Yeah.
anybody have any modifications, corrections, or anything like that?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last.
Thank you. Second?
Awesome.
Okay, Sonia.
Yes.
Yes, Andy.
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
And Laura.
Yes.
Hey. Miss, wonderful. Thank you, Jen. She's on vacation. Good for her. Taken one yet? All right, let's do our community or subcommittee reports. Thank you, Lynn. Let's do our subcommittee reports and try to keep them. I'm sorry, I feel like I do this every month, but we could try to keep them as brief as possible, since it's already almost 10 to 9. Okay, community updates. Who would like to go first?
At El Cerrito, we pretty much talked about this update and kind of touched on some of the plans that they have. And also included the college area because our El Cerrito area is both college area and eastern area. And realizing that right now, the zoning map kind of reflects each other on both sides of the boulevard, which makes us think that perhaps that we're going to end up with kind of a complementary mirror, not quite mirror image, but largely what we see as far as the zoning goes now. College area's plan is much further along than ours, so we are expecting that perhaps what they're showing on El Cajon Boulevard on the north side is going to also be reflected on the south side. So that was pretty much it.
Okay. Anyone else? Emily?
Rolando Village, we had our movie in the park last month. It was great. We had about 120 people, so it was a good success.
Wow.
Coming up on September 28th is Taste of the College Area, hosted by the college business district.
Yeah.
So all over college area and Rolando businesses. So
you guys should all come. It's going to be fun.
it's going to be really fun.
And
It was really fun last year.
They have transportation and all sorts of stuff. You should come.
Yeah, that's
everybody
fun.
Buy your tickets online.
Okay. Anyone else? Right. Danielle, would you like to give us a Parks and Rec update?
Sure, but it looked like Kristen has her hand up.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Kristen. Go ahead.
You're
You're
muted.
Sorry. I put my hand up a little bit late. I know Jen isn't there this evening, but I did want to give a quick Webster update that we had a hugely successful movie night on the lawn at Webster Elementary. We had several families that were there, and it was a really, really nice event.
Thank you. Okay. Now, Emily. Okay, go ahead, Steve. Me.
Can't hear you.
Webster has four groups. You've heard from one. There's the old Webster, there's the new Webster, there's Webster Heights, and now there's the Webster Observatory. So just to let you know, we do all kinds of stuff. Our regular meetings are starting again. We've been on hiatus for the summer. Our next Thursday is not next Thursday, Thursday week will be the restart of our group. We have lots of projects that they're working on and trying to combine some of the other groups that lay claim to Webster. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. And then Laura, do you have anything? It seemed like you
Madam Chair, could I do Parks and
Oh,
Rec?
I'm sorry, Danielle. I first called you out and then I skipped right over you. Go ahead, please.
No problem. I'm not shy. You all know that.
So sorry.
That's okay. So Richard was talking earlier about community gardens, and I just wanted to let everybody know that currently Normal Heights Planning Group and the Adams CRG Community Rec Group is putting in a community garden at Ward Canyon Park. So Richard, you might want to reach out to them. They're organizing the irrigation through the city at this point. And the other community garden has been already built, is the very first one in a dedicated park is in Linda Vista. There is a very large community garden that was dedicated about 9 months to a year ago, and it's supposedly the very first community garden that's actually in a dedicated park. So it looks like Normal Heights is well on their way, and so those are two that you could check out. So you don't have to just blindly figure out how to do a community garden in a dedicated park. For my report, there is a massive outreach by Parks and Rec to have a survey done of all of the recreation programs and the needs of the whole city. Council districts 4, 8, and 9 are in the first round. So Parks and Rec website, Recreation Needs Survey. They got a grant to do this. So I think I already shared it with all of the community plan chairpersons. So hopefully all 4 community plans in the Mid-City area have this information to both the CRGs, the community rec groups, and the planning groups. For the Choice Little League, we're starting fall ball, and we'll be electing our new board members to start planning for the spring season real soon. We're still working on that SUP. It's almost there. I'd say 99%. So the last thing I would like to let you know is a couple meetings coming up. One is for Colina, and that will be a week from tomorrow on the 17th at Colina del Sol Rec Center. And the Parks and Rec Board meeting that's usually on third Thursday has been pushed back to the fourth Thursday. And I've heard through the grapevine that we're supposed to be hearing 2 community plan updates on the Park and Recreation element, which would be the college area and Claremont. So it will be a jam-packed, exciting meeting at the next Parks and Rec Board. Their agenda will be coming out the week before, so look for it on the third Thursday on the website. And that's what I have. Thanks.
Thanks, Danielle.
The community planners were dark.
Okay. Quick and easy. All right. Well, that means we're at the end. And so we will, for the good and the order and adjournment, we will adjourn at 8:55 p.m.
Just really on track.
I try. All right. Thank you, everyone who joined online.
Thanks, everybody. Great session.
And I will fill some of the sections out, the attendance and all that.
Okay.
And then I'll also send you a link to the video so that you have them both. So we can
Just in that subject.
Maybe.
So I feel like all of us are gonna be involved.
Yeah.
Something like that.